All right, let's talk about a decade that honestly can either set you up for life or leave you scrambling. Your 40s. This is when your income often hits its peak. But let's be real, it's also when life gets incredibly expensive. Nailing this decade is everything. It's the difference between true financial freedom and, well, working forever. So, let's get into it.
So, I'll ask you this straight up. Are your 40s going to be a launch pad, shooting you straight towards financial independence? Or are they going to be a trap, where every bit of extra money you make just gets gobbled up by rising costs? Seriously, the path you choose right now is just so important.
You know, the end goal for a lot of us is hitting what's called our FI number. Now, this isn't some fantasy number, it's a real, tangible target. It's the exact amount of money you need invested so that you can live off the returns forever, without ever having to work again. Now, that is what financial independence is all about.
Okay, so how on earth do we get to that FI number? You know, most people think the answer is simple, just earn more money. But that's only looking at one side of the equation. The real secret, the actual engine that will build your wealth, is a little something called the gap. And this just shows it perfectly. Take a look at these two scenarios. You've got someone earning a ton of money, but they spend almost all of it. Their wealth, it barely grows. But then, you've got someone who earns a good living, but is really smart with their spending. Their wealth just explodes. So it hammers home the point, right? It's not about what you earn, it's all about what you keep.
And here it is. I mean, look how simple this is, but honestly, this might be the single most important image for your entire financial life. Your whole focus, your strategy, everything should be about one thing: making the space between these two bars, the gap, as massive as you possibly can. That gap, that's your freedom fund. That's the money that goes to work for you.
So if the goal is to widen that gap, what's getting in the way? Well, it turns out there's this huge obstacle that a lot of us run into without even noticing it. It's called the promotion trap. This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. A promotion is a trap if it only leads to higher obligations. Think about that. If getting a raise just means you're signing up for a bigger mortgage, a fancier car payment, more expensive holidays, you haven't actually gotten any wealthier. You've just built yourself a slightly bigger cage.
And here's exactly how that trap springs shut. So you get the promotion, awesome. And then you think, I've earned this, and you upgrade your lifestyle. The problem is, your expenses quietly creep up to match that new, bigger income. And then the crazy thing happens. The gap, your wealth engine, actually gets smaller. You're literally earning more money, but saving less. It's a vicious cycle.
Okay, so if managing expenses is playing defense, what's our offense? This is where we have to stop just reacting and start being proactive. To make that gap truly massive, we have to pull the biggest lever we've got, our income. I mean, think about it, right? There is a hard limit on how much you can cut your expenses. You can only get so frugal before life gets pretty miserable. But your income, the potential to grow your income is, well, theoretically unlimited. And that is where the real game-changing opportunity is. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it's about more than just hoping for a pay raise. It means strategically boosting your earning power. You know, are you developing high-value skills that are in demand right now? Or could you build a side venture? A little consulting business, maybe some freelance work? These are the kinds of moves that create whole new streams of income and can just supercharge your journey. So we've covered the offense, which is great, but now we have to talk about defense. Because all that incredible work of widening the gap and investing, it can be wiped out in a flash if you're not careful. This is why you absolutely have to protect your compounding clock. It's non-negotiable.
I absolutely love this way of putting it. An emergency fund isn't just some rainy day money sitting on the side. It is the load-bearing infrastructure of your financial life. It's like the foundation of your house. It holds everything up and stops the whole thing from crashing down the moment something unexpected happens.
And trust me, things will go wrong. The boiler gives up, the car needs a major repair, boom, an unexpected 3,000-pound bill lands on your doormat. It's really not a matter of if it'll happen, it's just a matter of when. And here's the killer. If you don't have that cash safety net, what are you forced to do? You have to sell your investments, the very assets that are supposed to be growing and building your future. And when you do that, you don't just lose the money you sell, you lose all the future growth that money would have ever made. You've essentially just hit a giant reset button on years of your hard work. It's absolutely devastating. So let's bring all this home. How do we take these ideas and actually apply them here in the UK? Because the principles are the same everywhere, but the tools we use are specific. Let's make this really practical.
And it's actually pretty simple when you break it down. You know how in the US they're always talking about a 401k for retirement? Well, our main equivalent here is a SIPP, a self-invested personal pension. It lets you take control of your retirement investments. And when they talk about a Roth IRA for tax-free growth, our brilliant version of that is the ISA, the individual savings account. Money you put in an ISA can grow and you'll never pay a penny of tax on it. Getting to know these two is absolutely key for making your gap grow as fast as possible.
Which brings us right back to the big question. You're here. This is your decisive decade. Now that you know about the gap, now that you know about the promotion trap, and the real power of your income, what are you going to do? How are you going to build your gap? Look, everything we've touched on today is covered in way more detail in the book, The Forties Frontier. If you really want to get a grip on this decade and put these strategies to work, I highly recommend you check it out. The link is right there in the description. Thanks so much for your time.